Chris, some people would have thought you might rest a few players for this game, but obviously you're taking it very seriously.
Yeah, no, definitely, Jock. I mean, obviously we've got respect for the Kings on the way they performed. They've pushed every team and they had some good victories. And if we must look at ourselves as well. So we're still fighting for positions, and we're at home. So let's keep the momentum. That's the aim. So a lot of respect for the guys, and there's enough. There's obviously guys that's nobody's playing next week in anyhow, so that also helped. I know there's guys that's going to train with the box, but all the SAA side and the rest of the squad has a whole week plus off before they start training again, so they can rest next week.
Johan, I know you always say, which is right, you focus on your team and what your team should do, but just a team like the Kings, are they a bit more difficult to play than any of the other South African teams, because they also play with passion. They don't really have the biggest names or so, but the way they've been playing, especially of late after a few wins, they seem to be a very motivated bunch. That's not an easy team, obviously, to play against.
Yeah, there's definitely no lack of motivation from their side, because they almost similar to where we were a few years ago. Nobody's given them always a chance, and they play against top sides in the world, and there's no better platform for a player to showcase yourself, to put yourself out there. And if you look at Klute and Lionel Cronje and Mpimpi, now suddenly, they become SAA players. They become, looked by other franchises. So that's what every player aspires to, is to play at the highest level. And I think they came together as a group and they used that opportunities well. Credit to the coaching staff. Dion did exceptionally well. And you can see what a difference it made to have a proper pre-season. They had a proper pre-season, much more time together than last season, and therefore, and then confidence. When they got that first win, it went to the second one, the third one, and now they play with a self-belief.
Was there any relation between you and Alison, maybe about how many minutes Jaco could
No, obviously we spoke about Jaco, and I said to him, before Jaco went on the camp, if he get cleared by our medical staff, then we will make a decision if he's going to start or off the bench. But there's no time limit. We didn't agree on a time that he's going to play 20 or 30 minutes, but we'll obviously use our common sense on when to put him up. Also, the relationship with Jaco, how does he feel? He's on the bench now, but if we need him early, then he must go all the way. So for us, it's more managing him and give him a fair chance of getting through the game, so that he can have a decent training with the box and hopefully get an opportunity there.
You see any hallmarks of where the Lions were a few years ago in the Kings side of
Say here, Liam?
do you see any hallmarks of where the Kings are at the moment compared to where you were a few years ago?
Well, yeah, again, if you think back in 2014, where players joined us from different unions, and they were hungry to succeed. And I think that's what we see, a side that's hungry to succeed. The only challenge them now for is the way forward. We knew when we got back, there's no promotion relegation for 2015. For us, the challenge was consistency and keeping the players and growing them to become experienced Super Rugby players. So now for them, that's the next challenge. They got a decent group together, and you can always add to that. But are they going to stay together? And what's the future for the Kings?
What does it feel like sitting next to the Springbok captain?
No, it's amazing. This whole week for me, well, the last day or two, that, I got almost always the respect for Warren, and even more now. he achieved something that I think not a lot of people will ever in their life get to. So, it's amazing. It's amazing to know that we've got the Springbok captain now in our team, and credit to Warren. And he's going to do an amazing job. And I knew that when I started with him in 2014 that there's something special in Warren. But it's nice, and we all, the team and everybody is, so excited for Warren's part. But it's a privilege for us.
We're obviously also very happy to have all the other new guys of Springboks. But did it make it a bit difficult this week, trying to keep their focus on the job that's going to be done on Sunday, or not?
No, we obviously had that conversation of what our expectation is for the weekend, and I challenged the guys and said, if your mind is not here but already thinking about the weeks lying ahead, that's when you get your hardest shot. And so I trust the guys is professional enough. They know what our expectation is, and again, so extremely proud of just the tenacity and the fuzzbait of all the guys. Think about Dreyer, Bubu's, Kortnell, where they come from. We saw them. Yeah, I had a meeting. My first meeting with Kortnell was in my office way back when he played for Tukkies, and it was a big change for him coming from the Bulls. And a few years later, he became a superstar at Super Rugby level, in my view, or a quality player. And now he's a Springbok, or in the squad. So it's great to see the guys becoming that quality players, and it's all down to a lot of hard work, but also credit to the whole team. Even the non-Springbok players, they made it possible for all these guys, and it's nice, But still, for us to focus on the job ahead for Sunday, and then after that, they can enjoy that experience.
Warren, is business as usual for you, or can you feel the mantle?
No, business as usual for me. As Coach mentioned before, we spoke about it earlier in the week, and this is where it all started for any of us as players, and we have huge respect for that. And I mean, that will come by us. One, it starts at training, your attitude at training first and foremost, and then obviously your attitude on the weekend of the game. And I believe everyone's attitude is right, and everyone's mindset is right.
Because just continuing on guys like Kortnell and Bubu specifically, when you guys initially embarked on this journey, they were the guys that performed consistently, but they flew a bit under the radar, and then suddenly this season they've actually just upped their game. Do you think they're actually also being included at the best time probably now for international rugby, given that they've actually done the hard work now, and now they're actually complete products? There's not any doubt anymore about their all-round abilities?
Yeah, I mean, Test rugby, Warren will say, it's a bit different. There is a lot of added pressure and less time and space, and that's the level they have to. There's no doubt they've got the potential, and every year that they didn't play actually help you. You get to play. Last year you played New Zealand sides. This year you played Australian sides. You get tested every week differently tactically, and they grew. But I think the consistency that those guys played probably, in my view, deserved those spots. They were consistent performance for us in the last few seasons, and yes, they maybe going to lack that experience, but there's enough time between now and the next World Cup to add that to them as well, and definitely the last few seasons helped them to prepare for that, but there is enough talent there to perform at that level.
Warren, I hear what you're saying, that focus on this weekend, but given what's happened, and especially in your position, being named Springbok captain, how difficult is it to sort of try and put that out of your mind and just focus on first things first kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it is a challenge, but what makes it easier is once you actually arrive here at the stadium and you're surrounded by everyone here at the Lions, and I think that's the biggest thing is you've got so much respect for your fellow player. I'm not going to let anyone down this weekend. I refuse to do that. So, that's how you overcome it quite quickly. We've got the right set of values and culture here, and it makes it easier to make that transition. To go on a Springbok camp and be able to come back and switch on, because there's a job to do, and what you've done previously with your teammates have given you that opportunity first and foremost, and that's where it starts again this week, and you need to honour that week in and week out, and that's where it starts.
Warren, is there more confidence in the camp, in the Lions camp, now that there's a few more of you in the box side?
Look, it's difficult to say because we haven't played, but I believe as a player, it does give you confidence. You can imagine a guy that's selected for the first time into a squad. It definitely gives you confidence, but you still have to make that mind switch, and I believe the guys have, and still be present and in the moment, because that's where you need to be this weekend. You can't think of the future. You need to stay in the moment, and training has gone well this week. The guys have really stepped it up and stayed in the moment, which is really important.
And your opposition this weekend, do you think they'll step up again because they know they're playing against a few more?
Definitely, and we've seen that week in and week out. They've really improved a lot, and you mentioned it quite well. The words he used were quite appropriate. What's different is they play as a team, they play as a unit, and they play for each other, and you can see that when they play, and that makes you dangerous. A team like that is hard to beat. So we have a lot of respect for them and what they've achieved this year. We've watched them closely, and as Coach mentioned, we're not taking them lightly.
Any more questions? One-on-ones?
Maybe just the last one. Okay, it's, the fact now that it's a Sunday game, people say, what's actually the difference? It's just a day on. But does it sort of change anything? Does it make it a bit more different? Things that you've got to think about maybe a bit differently from what it would have been on a Saturday and so on?
Out of a routine point of view, I think the players, feel the same. We didn't, like I said, we didn't change our trainings because of that. Yes, tomorrow is going to be different, of standing up instead of preparing yourself for a game. You come and have a practice, on a Saturday. I think the important thing is what you do between now and Sunday, because generally you quite focus on the Saturday for the match, your own match, where tomorrow is almost a training day, but also a day where you have to spend time with your family, kind of thing. If you can balance that right and come for Sunday, I think on the day itself it's nice and early, so there's not a lot. It's not a long wait like we had overseas with an 8 o'clock game. So it's nice and early, and hopefully once they're here at the stadium, the build up to the game will be the same. If there's a good crowd and all that thing, I don't think that will be a big influence.
Johan, just one thing. Alistair mentioned on Tuesday that Lionel pulled up with a knee during the camp. I presume he's fine now.
Lionel Mapu?
Lionel, yeah.
No, he's fine. No, he's 100%.